Deep in Kentucky, Fort Knox holds roughly 4,500 tons of gold bullion. At current market prices, that's worth about $667 billion. Yet, according to recent survey data, only about 1 in 10 Americans actually believes that gold is sitting in the vault. 90% of the public expresses genuine doubt or uncertainty about the government's official inventory. Recently, when reporters pressed the Treasury Secretary on this exact issue, the response was a simple verbal assurance that the gold is accounted for. But when invited to travel to Kentucky to personally verify it, the Secretary declined. The federal government manages the largest claimed physical asset on Earth, insisting it's perfectly secure, while prohibiting anyone from independently looking at it. When an institution refuses meaningful verification of an asset this large for decades, distrust becomes a predictable response to a massive gap in accountability. The last time this stockpile received a credible, even partial physical inspection was 1953. Dwight Eisenhower had just taken office. To put that timeline in perspective, the Korean War recently ended, TV was a household novelty, and Elvis hadn't recorded yet. The nation's ledger has gone unchecked for 73 years. If a private company managed client assets worth hundreds of billions of dollars and refused an independent physical inventory for 7 decades, they would face severe legal consequences under mandatory auditing laws. For the United States government, bypassing independent physical verification for its largest tangible asset has become standard operating procedure. Some officials point to a 1974 event as proof of verification, but that was a carefully staged public relations tour. About 150 politicians and reporters crowded into narrow passageways for a 2-hour visit. They viewed just one of the 15 vault compartments. There was no independent testing of the gold's purity, no serial number reconciliation against master ledgers, and no comprehensive weighing. Since that brief photo op, the Treasury has relied entirely on internal government reconciliations. Their own Inspector General signs off on custodial schedules, but these reviews lack the rigorous physical counting required for assets of this scale. To address this, Congress is advancing the Gold Reserve Transparency Act. Introduced by Representative Thomas Massey, this bipartisan legislation mandates the first genuinely independent, comprehensive physical audit of all American gold depositories. Passing a formal law creates a lasting mandate. It bypasses executive branch resistance and forces an actual accounting, rather than another verbal assurance. Executing this mandate involves extreme physical labor. Auditors will have to manually handle, weigh, and verify an estimated 368,000 individual 400-ounce bars. Verifying the asset requires assaying, a process of testing the exact purity of the metal. Teams will need to drill small core samples from statistical selections of bars and send them to independent labs for analysis. Because of the sheer volume and the precision required, experts estimate this exhaustive inventory process will take anywhere from 18 to 24 full months to complete. The bill requires a public record of any transactions from the last 50 years. This specifically targets any undisclosed leasing, swapping, or foreign encumbrance arrangements that have not been previously disclosed to the public. This chart shows a massive valuation discrepancy. The tiny bar represents the legacy statutory value of $422 per ounce, used officially. The towering bar represents the actual current market price, showing a difference of hundreds of billions of dollars. An audit provides data on both the physical inventory and the legal status of the reserves, checking for arrangements that might be hidden behind an accounting figure disconnected from current market values. This push for an audit arrives right as the United States national debt has surpassed $36 trillion. Annual interest payments on that debt now exceed $1 trillion a year, costing more than the entire defense budget. Concurrently, all 3 major credit rating agencies have officially stripped the United States of its top-tier sovereign credit rating. When a nation's fiscal health deteriorates to this degree, global creditors apply intense scrutiny to every claimed national asset, looking for any sign of weakness or over-leverage. Since gold no longer directly backs the currency, verification today addresses the government's ability to manage its primary physical assets with transparency. If foreign creditors and everyday citizens see that a 73-year accountability gap is permitted on the most tangible asset the nation owns, they logically assume other areas of federal financial reporting are equally flawed. If this legislative effort stalls and fades away like previous attempts, that skepticism will deepen. It will cement domestic distrust and validate international fears regarding American fiscal stability. Completing the mandated audit, even if it uncovers statistically expected minor discrepancies in weight or purity, establishes a recurring 5-year cycle of verification. The Fort Knox audit provides a clear metric for accountability. In a period of rising debt and institutional doubt, verified transparency serves as the foundation for a superpower's financial credibility.